Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajak Acharya Sotar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajak Acharya Sotar Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kota Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mathura Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gaur Premananda, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
That is also being described by Govindadas. He said, Savana
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranayam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Nara Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nastaprayasa Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavaduttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Today we'll be continuing in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. I'm waiting for this to load up. Chapter 49, 50, 51, text 7.
At the present moment, we have no opportunity to hear directly. To hear directly from Krishna is there. The arrangement is there. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, and one can hear from him very easily, anywhere and everywhere.
Hasta praptam hivatmanam
For that
harina sapade pade nito darshayata duram yavanesho drikandaram
one can achieve devotional
hasta praptam hivatmanam
by the combined mercy of
harina sapade pade
and spiritual.
nito darshayata duram yavanesho drikandaram
Grace of spiritual Guru.
hasta praptam hivatmanam harina sapade pade
Serving Krishna
nito darshayata duram yavanesho drikandaram.
that
Devotee?
spiritual master is the
Hasta praptam.
direct manifestation of Krishna. Krishna comes before the devotee as spiritual master, just like sun enters your room by the sunshine. Although the sun does not enter your room or your city or your country, he is millions and millions of miles away. Still, he can enter everywhere by his potency, the sunshine. Similarly, Krishna enters everywhere by his different potencies. And to see this light from Krishna, one has to hear. Hearing so important. Therefore, Govinda says, Sravana. Sravana means hearing. And one who can heard nicely,
Harina sapade pade.
Kirtanam. Just like our boys,
Darshayata duram
a little nicely. Now they are very eager,
yavanesho drikandaram.
going from street to street. This is natural sequence.
Word for word meanings.
It's not
Hasta
you hear,
in his hands.
then stop.
Praptam
Next
reached.
kirtan.
Eva
Either by
as if.
vibration,
Atmanam
or
himself.
speaking, or by preaching.
Harina by Lord Krishna.
Savanam,
Saha he.
first hearing,
Pade pade
chanting.
at each step.
And
Nitaha
and chanting about home,
brought.
about
Darshayata
not providing answer.
by him who was showing.
Savanam, kirtanam, Vishnu.
Duram far. Yavana Isha
Ordinary people, they are also engaged.
the king of the Yavanas, Adri, in a mountain, Kundaram, to a cave. Translation. Appearing virtually within each of Kalyavana's hands at every moment, Lord Hari led the king of the Yavanas far away to a mountain cave. Please repeat. Appearing virtually within reach of Kalyavana's hands, at every moment, Lord Hari led the king of the Yavanas far away to a mountain cave. There's no purport, but there's some tikas by the acharyas. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Krishna led Kalyavana far off to a cave in the mountain by letting himself almost get caught and then running away time and time again. Jiva Goswami writes, this verse shows the dexterity of the Lord. Kalyavana was led by Krishna, whom he saw at every moment, almost in his hands, far away to a mountain cave. And Sanatana Goswami writes something similar. Though he was the king of the Yavanas, he was led away by Krishna, who encouraged him by showing himself to be at arm's length. So I was going to go on to the next verse, text 8. Palayanam yadu kule jatasya tava nochitam iti kshipan anugato nainam prapahatashubha. Translation. While chasing the Lord, the Yavana cast insults at him, saying, You took birth in the Yadu dynasty. It's not proper for you to run away. But still, Kalyavana could not reach Lord Krishna because his sinful reactions had not been cleansed away. And there's no purport for this verse either, but there's some involved tikas, particularly from Jiva Goswami. And he writes, Seeing he could not catch Krishna, Kalyavana began scolding him in order to stop him. Since Krishna was famous among the Yadus for his courage, he should not flee. Scolding him, he followed him, but could not catch him at all. Pra-apa. The reason is ahata shubha. Literally, he had not destroyed his sins. Since his sins were eradicated by suddenly seeing the Lord, presence of sin cannot be the cause of his not attaining the Lord. One could propose that if Kalyavana's auspiciousness were unimpeded, he would have caught his enemy. However, he could not catch Krishna because of his inimical mentality and actions. One should not lament that Kalyavana did not get liberation, since he did attain liberation later. Attain liberation later. However, just with the destruction of their sins, demons do not attain the Lord. There's a couple Bhagavatam verses here. Yecha pralambakara dargara kesharishta maleva kamsa yavana kapi pundrakadya anyecha shalva kuja balvala dantavakra saptoksha shambara vidurata rukmi muyaha yeva mride samiti shalina ata chapaha Kamboja Matsya Kuru Shinjaya Kaikayada Yadyaya Yasyantya Darshanam Alambala Partha Bhima Vyaja Vayena Harina Nilam Tadyam. The demons headed by Pralamba, Denuka, Baka, Keshi, Arishta, the wrestlers, Kuvalya Pid, Kamsa, Kalyavana, Dvivida, Pandrika, Shalva, Narakasura, Balvala, Dantavakra, the seven bulls, Shambhara, Vidurata, and Rukmi, as well as those with bow in hand, glorious in fighting on the battlefield, such as the Kambojas, Matsyas, Kurus, Srinjayas, and Kaikayas, will attain Sayuja or Vaikuntha by the Lord, or through his instruments, Balaram, Arjuna, Bhima, and others. And that's from Srimad Bhagavatam 2, Canto 2, chapter 7, verse 34. The Lord cannot be attained by any ordinary means. And this is another Bhagavatam verse. Yat pada pamsur bahu janma kretrato dritat mabir yogibir apyalabhya saeva yadrig vishaya swayam stita kim varnyate jishtam ato varrajaukasham. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, whose foot dust cannot be seen by yogis in samadhi, who have controlled their mind by severe hardship for many births, is eternally situated here, directly visible to the eyes of the people of Raj. Ah, how can the good fortune of the people of Raja be described? And that's from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 12th chapter, verse 12. The special means is indicated for attaining the Lord. Bhakjaham ekaya graya shrajatma priya satam. Bhakti punati manishta swapakan api sambhavat. Only by bhakti with full faith can the devotees obtain me, Paramatma, the object of love. Bhakti fixed in me purifies even a dog eater of his low birth. And that's from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, text 21. And then he quotes another verse here. Tara samvahanam chakrukechi tasya mahatmanaha apare hata papmano vyajanai samavijayam. Some of the cowherd boys, who are all great souls, would then massage his lotus feet, and others, qualified by being free of all sin, would expertly fan the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 15th chapter, verse 17. In the above verse, Hata Papmanaha refers to the highest bhakti devoid completely of indifferent or hostile attitude towards the Lord. Thus in the verse, the phrase Ahata Ashubhaha means his inimical attitude towards the Lord. How could he attain the Lord in the manner that Yashoda caught him as he ran away? Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manokishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Vidati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapattikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Sam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakantritam Scha Hey Krishna Korana Sindho Bino Dino Bando Jagapate Gopisha Gopikanta Radhakanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Panchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming on this glorious Sunday where we can read and try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Thank you for bearing with me in my butchering of some of the Sanskrit words and my jumbling of English and just my speaking impediments, if you will. So here we just started a new chapter where Krishna has battled with Jarasandha many times. He's defeated him many times. And Jarasandha's off again. But Krishna and Balaram were discussing amongst themselves, that Jarasandha's probably going to come back. And all of a sudden, this super demon Kalyavana appears, ready to fight, who we've heard a little bit about. Um, he's like something out of a comic book or superhero movie, like the evil villain, ready to fight and destroy. So Krishna and Balaram construct this beautiful fort that's impenetrable, and then he, by his mystic powers, puts all the citizens into this new kingdom, and Krishna comes out of Mathura. Kalyavana's standing there, and, and Krishna just decides to run. He has a plan behind everything, and all his plans serves multi-purposes. It's multifaceted. So Kalyavana's running, or Krishna's running, and Kalyavana's running. Krishna's unarmed. I wanted to read a little bit from Krishna book to kind of catch us up to where we are. And in the purport, well, before I do that, in the purport, Jiva Goswami kind of he's looking at Kalyavana and saying, wondering why Kalyavana can't catch Krishna. Like, why is he out of his reach? And one could say, well, it's because Krishna is God. He can do whatever he wants. He can either be within your reach or without, not in your reach. But in here, Jiva Goswami is saying that the reason Kalyavana couldn't catch Krishna is because his sinful reactions, or his sins were eradicated, but he still had a sinful mindset, an inimical mentality towards Krishna. The idea that he could conquer Krishna, defeat Krishna, and that sort of mentality is not pleasing to the Lord, and it's not going to get you in with the Lord. It's not going to you're not going to be able to capture the Lord. The only way to capture the Lord is through devotional service. So then Jiva Goswami quotes these Bhagavatam verses showing that, okay, so these demons, they may fight Krishna with this inimical attitude and mentality, but they achieve sahuja, or sayuja, is that how you say it? Liberation. But they're directly on a battlefield with Krishna, seeing him face to face. And if they kind of recognize him as the Lord, then they go to Vaikuntha. If they don't, they kind of, they get another kind of liberation. Whereas for us, if we have this inimical mentality towards the Lord's, we get nowhere. We actually go downwards, We won't get liberation. We, de-evolution, we go down. So let me just go to Krishna book, and I'll read a little bit just to catch up. When Krishna came out of the city, Kalyavana, who had never seen Krishna before, saw him to be extraordinarily beautiful, dressed in yellow garments. Passing through Kalyavana's assembly of soldiers, Krishna appeared like the moon in the sky, passing through the assembled clouds. Kalyavana was fortunate enough to see the lines of Srivats, a particular impression on the chest of Sri Krishna, and the Kaustuba jewel he was wearing. Kalyavana saw him, however, in his Vishnu form, with a well-built body, 4 hands, and eyes like the petals of a newly blooming lotus. Krishna appeared blissful, with a handsome forehead and beautiful smiling face, restless eyebrows, and moving earrings. Before seeing Krishna, Kalyavana had heard about him from Narada, and now the descriptions of Narada were confirmed. Kalyavana noticed Krishna's specific marks in the jewels on his chest, his beautiful garland of lotus flowers, his lotus-like eyes, and his similar beautiful bodily features. He concluded that this beautiful personality must be Vasudeva, For every description he had previously heard from Narada was substantiated by the presence of Krishna. Kalyavana was astonished to see Krishna passing through his army without any weapon in his hands and without any chariot. He was simply walking on foot. Kalyavana had come to fight with Krishna, and yet he had sufficient principles not to take up any kind of weapon. He decided to fight with him hand to hand. Thus he prepared to capture Krishna and fight. Krishna, however, went ahead without looking at Kalyavana. Kalyavana followed him with a desire to capture him, but in spite of his swift running, he could not capture Krishna. Krishna cannot be captured even by great yogis traveling at the speed of the mind. He can be captured only by those who follow the path of devotional service, and Kalyavana was not practiced in devotional service. He wanted to capture Krishna, and since he could not do so, he followed him from behind. Kalyavana began running very fast, thinking, "Now I am near, I will capture him." But he could not. Krishna led him far away and entered the cave of a hill. Kalyavana thought that Krishna was trying to avoid fighting him, and was therefore taking shelter of the cave. He rebuked him with the following words: "Oh, Krishna, I heard that you are a great hero born in the dynasty of Yadu, but I see that you are running away from fighting like a coward. It is not worthy of your good name and family tradition." Kalyavana was following, running very fast, but still he could not catch Krishna because he was not freed from all contaminations of sinful life. According to Vedic culture, anyone who does not follow the regulative principles observed by the higher castes, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, or even those observed by the laborer class, the Shudras, is called a mlecha or yavana. The Vedic social situation is so planned that persons accepted as Shudras can gradually be elevated to the position of Brahmanas by the cultural advancement known as samskar, or the purificatory process. The verdict of the Vedic scriptures is that no one becomes a Brahmana or a mlecha simply by birth. By birth, everyone is accepted as a Shudra. One has to elevate himself by the purificatory process to the stage of Brahminical life. If he degrades himself further, he is then called a mlecha or yavana. Kalyavana belonged to the class of mlechas and yavanas. Contaminated by sinful activities, he could not approach Krishna. The principles from which higher class men are restricted, namely illicit sexual indulgence, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication, are an integral part of the lives of the mlechas and yavanas. Being bound by such sinful activities, one cannot make any advancement in God realization. The Bhagavad Gita confirms that only one who is completely freed from all sinful reactions can engage in devotional service or Krishna consciousness. So in that little summary of to where we are, we can see that Kalyavana, he's got that sinful mindset, that mlecha mindset, that yavana mindset, that I'm still going to enjoy all these things. I'm going to still lord it over and be the conqueror, and I'm going to conquer Krishna. Yes, that's it. I'm going to conquer God, and I'm going to be in control. But it's completely impossible, and he's never going to catch Krishna. In this particular pastime, he's actually playing with Krishna, so it's a little bit different. But if we have that same mindset, like, I'm just going to enjoy and I'm going to conquer the world, and I'm going to do it all, and forget about God and don't even recognize God, then we're not going to make any advancement. We're going to keep going down. Where is it? I can't remember the exact word he uses here, but you de-evolve. You go backwards. We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forwards. And the only way to go forwards is to recognize Krishna, and to recognize Krishna as the Supreme, and say, "Hey, Krishna, how can I serve you? Let me be your friend. I'm your servant. Please help." It's the only way we can do it is by surrendering to Krishna. And the only way to surrender to Krishna, well, not the only way, but one of the best ways to help in the surrendering process is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then, as I usually say, we'll be golden. There's always going to be problems and all these things, but the key is to be Krishna's friend, or at least be his servant. You know, Krishna doesn't want to be in the association with somebody that's a Debbie Downer, or that is always trying to lord it over and be in charge. It just doesn't work that way. So then I'm thinking like, oh God, you know, we have all these sinful reactions. I have all these sinful reactions, and this Yavana mentality and all these things, and it's like, what do we do? You know. So then I thought of the verse from Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharma prityaja mamekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami mashuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. And so this is such a nice purport. I thought I would read this because, I mean, Prabhupada just says it so nicely. And he explains a lot of how our sinful reactions will just be destroyed if we just stick to the process of Krishna consciousness. The Lord has described various kinds of knowledge, processes of religion, knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, knowledge of the Super Soul, knowledge of the different types of orders and statuses of social life, knowledge of the renounced order of life, knowledge of non-attachment, sense and mind control, meditation, etc. He has described so in so many ways different types of religion. Now, in summarizing Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that Arjuna should give up all processes that have been explained to him. He should simply surrender to Krishna. That surrender will save him from all kinds of sinful reactions, for the Lord personally promises to protect him. In the 8th chapter, it was said that only one who has become free from all sinful reactions can take to the worship of Lord Krishna. Thus, one may think that unless he is free from all sinful reactions, he cannot take to the surrendering process. To such doubts, it is here said that even if one is not free from all sinful reactions, simply by the process of surrendering to Sri Krishna, he is automatically freed. There is no need of strenuous effort to free oneself from sinful reactions. One should unhesitatingly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all living entities. With faith and love, one should surrender unto him. I mean, it's beautiful and it sounds simple. And it is simple, but it's difficult to always surrender. Your biggest enemy is going to be your mind and Maya, or your mind as Maya, however you want to describe it. Your biggest enemy really is going to be your mind. Your mind is going to shut you down. Your mind is going to say you can't do these things, that you can't be Krishna conscious, that there's no point in being Krishna conscious, that you're in control, that you can conquer everything, and that you can do it all. But simply surrendering, the process of simply surrendering takes care of it. It's as you progress, you may not see it like right away, but slowly, all these things come into play. I was going to just remark on my own, just going through challenges over the years in bhakti. There's ups and downs, but if you just keep going, you're still going to be purified. You will see it eventually. If you take a step back and do the introspection, you can see that it actually, this process works as long as you surrender and stick to it, and you're always chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then as you're doing that, you can develop a relationship with Krishna that's not inimical, a loving relationship. You can actually develop a loving relationship with Krishna. And I repeat that because, you hear that all the time, and it sounds like a far-fetched thing. But if you're actually surrendered and you're doing it and you're practicing, that actually happens. And especially with deity worship, uh, you almost have to surrender yourself even more, because now you're letting the deities be in control of you and your time. And in that process, there's definitely some reciprocation. I can think of so many instances where Krishna reciprocates in small ways that are unfathomable. And just one small example. One time I was getting ready for an arti, and it was only like 1 minute till ready to blow the conch. But I was thinking, well, I got a minute. Maybe I should do something. Maybe I should fix the clocks, or make them in sync, or wipe the floor. But I was like, oh, there's not enough time. So then I wandered on the altar, thinking that, and then all of a sudden, this was at the noon arti. Krishna's fine. He's dressed. He just had lunch. And as I'm thinking it, all of a sudden, one of his, I don't know what you call it, one of the adornments on his crown just pops off. It just like shoots off down to his feet. I was like, okay, well, I guess, that's what I'm going to be doing right now for that minute or two, And I saw that as Krishna's reciprocation, You just have to recognize Krishna and communicate with him. Chant Hare Krishna like an actual person, because he is an actual person. And then the example I use is just a small, a small example, but to me it shows like, oh, hey Santosh, I'm here, I'm ready to engage with you. Just surrender to me and do it, keep going. So, in short, just looking at this verse, the main point I wanted to bring up is, from time to time we get these inimical attitudes or mentalities, but that's not you. That's just your mind. It's illusion. Don't fall for that trap. Don't fall for the illusion. That's what Kalyavana's kind of doing. He's still trapped in that idea that I can capture Krishna, I can conquer Krishna. But the only way he can do that is through complete surrender. So I'll just, since we have a few minutes, I'll finish with that purport. According to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order, but if by executing his duty one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are in vain. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. One should be confident that in all circumstances Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. As soon as one seriously engages himself in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. There are different processes of religion and purificatory processes by cultivation of knowledge, meditation in the mystic yoga system, etc. But one who surrenders unto Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. That simple surrender unto Krishna will save him from unnecessarily wasting time. One can thus make all progress at once and be freed from all sinful reaction. One should be attracted by the beautiful vision of Krishna. His name is Krishna because he is all attractive. One who becomes attracted by the beautiful, all-powerful, omnipotent vision of Krishna is fortunate. Anyways, did anyone have any questions, comments? Right. It's impossible. Only through devotion. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindanalaya Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Giram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Gila Nagara Braje Tathai Tathai Bajilakon Khana Khana Tahe Jachira Rol Tathai Tathai Bajilakon टाठै टाठै बाजल खन घन घन टाहे जाझेर रोल घन घन टाहे जाझेर रोल प्रेमे धन धन सोनार अङ्ग चरणे नुपुर बाजे प्रेमे धड धड सोनार अङ्ग चरणे नुपुर मुकुन्द माधव जाधव हरि बोले न बोल रे बदन भोरी यादव हरि मिछे निदा बसे गेलो रे रति दिवस शरीर साजे मन दुर्लभ मानव देह पाइया की कर भावना के एबे न भजिले जशोदा सुत चरमे परि बेला जे एबे न भाजिले जशोदा सुत चरमे परि बेला जे उदित तपन होइले अस्त दिने गेल बोली हइबे व्यस्त तबे के नबे आलस है ना भज हृदय राजे जीवन नित्य जन सार ताहे नाना विध विपद भार